Hey guys, welcome to Homesteading with the Brewers. We are finally going to show you our homemade laundry soap recipe. I'm very excited. Want to get started very quickly showing you some of the materials you're going to need. First, you're going to need a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. This little thing I like to use to pour, once the laundry soap is done, to scoop it out of here, to pour it in this funnel, to get it in these containers. Just makes it a lot easier. Also, you can stir your stuff with a paint stirrer if that's what you want to do with a stick. I don't have time for all of that, so we found this at Walmart. I think it was like $3. You just attach it to your drill. This is a 5-gallon one. It looks short, but it's not. It really does a fantastic job of mixing your 5-gallon bucket of laundry soap. Now this recipe is actually going to not make 5 gallons of laundry soap, it's going to make 10. It's going to be super concentrated, and then we're going to, once it's done, we're going to fill these containers up halfway with water and the rest of the way with soap. I know a lot of you are going to be like, well, why don't you just make it more concentrated? That's fine, but when you see the consistency that this homemade soap turns into, you're going to understand why it has to be diluted. It does not affect the way it washes your clothes. Do you have to use a little bit more? Sure, that's fine. It's half a cup per load. It's not that much more. I think pretty much equal to what you already use in your laundry. This soap is safe for high efficiency washers. It's got natural brighteners in it. It's amazing, and it smells great. I'll be going over the ingredients with you. There is an optional ingredient of a scent booster. You do not have to use this. This soap smells great on its own. You don't have to have that. That is completely up to you. We choose to because we used to use Gain and Tide, and we love the smell of it, and we want to try to hold on to that just a little bit. Still, it's so much cheaper to do this, and we'll go over that as well. But now you know what materials you need. We're going to go over the ingredients now. You're going to need, my husband tore into this and I was trying to save it for the video so you could see what it looks like. You're going to need 2 bars of Zote soap. We finally grate this because we're going to be melting this all in a gallon of pot of water. And it makes it easier to melt. So you need 2 of these bars, and you're going to grate it down into these little shavings. You can buy the Zote soap with the shave already. They're already got the shavings. I don't really like that though, because I like this pink stuff. It smells great. These are 14.1 ounce bars. There is brighteners in it. It's safe for colors, safe for whites. Your whites will be whiter than you've ever seen it. The smell of it is so good. It does have some citronella in it, so it naturally repels mosquitoes during the summertime. That's great for us here in the South. Next ingredient is going to be borax. We're going to do 3 cups of the borax. If you are making laundry soap for a baby, you want to put this down to 1 cup or not at all and just omit it, and that's fine. But it's a really good wash booster. So we're going to use it. We don't have any babies. But again, this is optional if you want to make it a baby-friendly homemade laundry soap. Next, we're going to do 3 cups of washing soda. We make our washing soda homemade. And I've already posted a video on how to do that to save some money. Next is baking soda. Most recipes call for a cup. I'm using a cup and a half because we have boys and I don't need to go further into that. It eliminates odors naturally. This is a new ingredient I'm adding to the recipe. It's Oxiclean. I didn't use this before, but I want to use it now. I feel like it'll just give it a little bit more of a cleaning power. I before used a very cheap detergent that I added to our laundry, and I did not like the consistency of our soap. It changed the consistency. I want to use a powder. Oxiclean is great. You don't have to get really expensive stuff. I get off-brand stuff, guys. It's fine. I got this from the Dollar General today. It smells so good. It smells so good. The last laundry soap we used, I used the Gain scents, and the smell didn't carry over as much as I would have liked. So I want to try the crystals this time and see if we can get more of our smell good in it. The next thing I want to show you guys and go over with you is cost. This looks like a lot of work, I know, and it is, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, Zote, for this recipe we use 2 bars. It's $2.24 for 10 gallons of soap. That's roughly 22 cents per gallon of laundry soap. Borax is $4.47 for the whole box. We use $1.68 worth for 10 gallons of our soap. Washing soda, again I make this homemade, so I'm going to use the same price as the baking soda. I use an entire 4-pound box and make my 4 pounds of washing soda. We use 72 cents for 10 gallons. Baking soda, we only use 1.5 cups, so it's only 12 ounces. We only use 36 cents for 10 gallons. Oxiclean was $4. We use 1.5 cups, that's 12 ounces. That's 96 cents for 10 gallons. We're using the whole container, and I even had a little extra. You guys don't need to do that. I just didn't want to save like a couple capfuls off of my fabric softener. It was already really strong, so I'm just going to add it to the laundry stuff. But $3 is enough. It's pretty strong smelling stuff. This is optional. You don't have to do this. But it equals out to about 30 cents per gallon. So $3 for the whole 10 gallons. Let me show you what this breaks down to price-wise. Okay? We just went over this. Those are the totals there. Okay? The total without the scent is $5.96 for 10 gallons of soap. If you add the scent booster, you're looking at $8.96 for 10 gallons. Some of you live in states where you don't have sales tax. We have 7% here, so if you need to add that into your cost, that's fine. I didn't for this video for the purpose of some of you live where that's not a thing. So if you need to add that in there, you can. Okay? So let's break this down even further. The total without scent booster per gallon, each gallon will cost 60 cents. If you use 1/2 cup per load, each gallon will give you 32 loads. That's under 2 cents per load that you're spending to do your laundry. We have a family of 7. I do laundry every single day. I do at least, and this is going to sound crazy guys, but with towels and bedding and 5 kids, and both me and my husband work, so we have work clothes, we have day clothes, we have night clothes, we just have a lot of laundry. This has saved us a crazy amount of money, and every little bit goes a long way when you're raising a large family. So we want to share this with you guys, and this is why. I'm talking hundreds of dollars a year, if not more. If you want to see the price breakdown with the scent, which we have done, it's 90 cents per gallon of laundry soap. Again, 1/2 cup per load, 32 loads out of this. That's right under 9 cents per load. Saves so much money. And this is where I'm going to show you. And I'm being very generous here with what I'm about to tell you, because we were actually spending $18 for our laundry soap. And okay, it says 72 loads, but they weren't having to put 3 of those packs in every wash like we do, because we have such a large family. So those 72 loads didn't actually last 72 loads. The typical top name brand laundry soap is $8.94 per gallon. Yeah, 1 gallon. And again, I'm being generous. There was one top name brand, I'm not going to name them, but comparable ingredients. Ours with more natural stuff than theirs. I won't get into that. But yeah, that's the cheapest that I found for a gallon of soap, of their soap. So even with our scent boosted soap, is still cheaper for 10 gallons versus their 1. It's a big difference, guys. Alright, so I'm going to get this cleaned up and we're going to get started in showing you what the process of this is. Okay guys, so got all of this grated up. It does take some elbow grease. I've got a pot of water right here. This is a medium-sized saucepan. As you can see, I'm probably going to have to break this down into 2 batches because I don't have a big enough pot. We just bought this house. I don't have the stuff that I need to do all of this, but that's okay. We'll break it down into 2 pots and I'll save y'all the trouble of watching that. So you may want to get a larger stock pot if you have one. If you want to do it all, that's what I would recommend for you guys. Fill it up halfway full. The water content doesn't really matter because the purpose of this is to melt this and then to put it in your bucket, and then we're going to add more water as we add more ingredients until we get a 5-gallon bucket full. So it just really does not matter at this point. This purpose is to melt this. So I'm going to let this heat up and get hot, and I will be right back with you guys. I don't even need to say that. I paused this and you're right back anyway, but hey, just a moment. Okay, I've poured half of that into here. Again, you guys don't have to do it that way if you've got a bigger pot than I do. We are making a double batch of the Zote soap. Most people only use 1 bar and we're wanting to use 2. So if you have a bigger pot, that's great. I don't want to put too much in here with just a little bit of water because this consistency is going to gel up. It's going to thicken. And I don't want to burn it. I want it to be able to melt down good, and I don't feel like it could do it that way with that many flakes in it with this amount of water. So I'm going to continue to stir this. When the screen flashes back, you're going to see what it looks like, and I'll watch the clock to see how many minutes this takes. You see it's already starting to suds up a little bit. This laundry soap is very low sudsing, which is great for high efficiency washers, or even if you don't have a high efficiency washer. It's great for any washer, it doesn't matter. This will also clean your cookware like crazy. It makes things really shine. You can even use it as dish soap, not in the laundry soap form, but just with this and the Borax and probably the washing soda. I wouldn't use Oxiclean in the scent though for your dish soap if you wanted to set a little bit aside for that. That's up to you though. I'm not going to show that in this video. If you guys want me to the next time we make this soap, I'll add that in there. You can also do a pre-treater with this here. You have to have vegetable glycerin to keep it from separating, because this will try to separate on you, and I don't have that this time, unfortunately. So again, that'll be another idea for another video, but for right now this is going to be stirred until it's all melted up, and you'll get to see what that looks like in just a second. Okay guys, so this is pretty much completely melted. There may still be a few little strings in there, but you're not seeing any more of those flakes. This is a process where we're actually going to add our borax, because we want our borax to be heated with this and for it to melt. So I'm going to pour, again, only half of this, and it's going to thicken up a lot. It causes a chemical reaction which causes it to gel up. So I'm going to mix this, and once it's diluted, you'll see what that looks like. And once it's all mixed up, we're going to pour it into our bucket, and I'm going to get started on the saved batch that y'all will not be watching. Sorry about that, guys. Should have had a bigger pot for this, but we make do with what we can. I want to show you guys how this consistency has changed since I added the borax. And see, there's still some globules down there that need to mix up, but it doesn't run just like water. This is starting to turn into soap. It's thickening up. And this stuff gets super thick as it sits and cools. So I'm going to get the rest of this borax melted up in here. But yeah, it's thickening up. Alright guys, this is ready to be poured in there. All the borax has dissolved. It's very thick. So I'm going to cut this heat off. I'm going to pour this into our 5-gallon bucket. It's very hot. Try not to get any splashback, that would not be fun. And here it is in the bucket. And I'm going to let you guys not watch this second batch I have to do, because you don't have to do it if you have a stock pot and you're doing the devil's oat soap. So I will be right back with you. Okay, I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to show you guys the making of the second pot because I want you to learn from my mistake. Make sure you have a great big stock pot to do this in. It needs to hold, I would recommend at least 12 cups of water for this amount of zote and borax. A gallon is preferable. So a big stock pot would be great for doing this, so you don't have to make 2 batches as I'm doing. I'm going to get this finished up, get it in our bucket so we can get to the next step of making this. You can avoid having to do this second batch as I've done unless you don't have a stock pot, and then this is how you have to do it. You have to work with what you got. You cannot fit all of those flakes and all this borax. Look how thick this is. If you tried to do all of that in this little pot, you're going to end up burning your soap, and that's not a good idea. So if you have to do it, you can. Obviously, it's just one more step that you can avoid if you do own a stock pot, which I recommend. Again, at least 12 cups of water to get this melted down, preferably a gallon. And we will be right back to show you the next step. Okay, this is all in the bucket. That's our soap. Next is going to be the homemade washing soda. We're going to get this poured in here. I know that's a lot. That was 3 cups of that stuff. I'm not gonna break out the paint mixer yet. We're gonna do this part by hand. I'm just gonna stir this all up. It's still very hot. So all this stuff should blend in just fine for you. And we're just going to mix it. It smells so good, guys. Even without adding the scent boosters yet, the stuff smells delightful. Again, I know you can't see smell, but this does. It smells really good. Just want to get that mixed in there very well. Pull some up. It's still kind of grainy. We're going to continue to mix it. And if you feel at any time that this consistency is too thick to melt any more ingredients, feel free to turn your hot water on at your sink. And we're going to be adding hot tap water to this bucket until it's about an inch from the top. You don't want to fill it up all the way because as this cools, and I like to say that as it cures, it expands, and it's going to form a very I'm trying to think of a good analogy to use. It's very jelly-like, and it does have to sit, you know, 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours, and you want to stir it during that time. If you can. If you can't, it's fine. It just makes it a little bit harder. If you don't have a drill and one of these things right here to help you to mix it, it's so thick, it, you know, kind of hurts trying to get it all mixed in. And you can get a paint stick. This spoon is not long enough. I actually do not have a paint stick to do this with, so I think that's pretty well mixed in there. So the next ingredient we're going to get is the baking soda. That's going to help neutralize the odors and everything else. This is a 1.5 cups of the baking soda. We're going to mix that on in there. Got some up on the spoon. And each time you add this, you're just going to give it a good stir. I really don't need to watch this part, so I'm just going to go ahead and get the ingredients in here. The last recommended ingredient is going to be our Oxiclean. And yes, I know it's off-brand. Again, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. This is mixed in pretty good again. I'm going to add our Oxiclean. This is the final recommended ingredient. We have another ingredient if you want to add the scent booster. I'm actually going to wait a little while to add the scent booster once this cools down a little bit. I still want the crystals to be able to melt, but I don't want the water or this soap to be so hot that it burns off all the scent. You want that happening during the washing cycle because it adds the scent into your clothes. If we lose the scent in this bucket, then you are going to get the typical homemade soap that it doesn't smell as strong as the store-bought stuff, and we kind of grow accustomed to that. If that's what you like, if you're adding it, I know I do. And this stuff does smell great, don't get me wrong, but what you'll see with this homemade soap is the quality of cleanliness of your clothes is enhanced. Like, it's better, it cleans better. And I have experience. Again, 7 people in this house I do laundry for, and I can tell you from experience that this soap, with or without the scent booster, cleans better than the store-bought stuff. And it's 1/10 of the price, as I showed you earlier in this video. So it's totally worth it. If you're not adding the scent booster, this has cooled down considerably since I've started doing this. If you're not adding the scent booster, at this point you're going to stop and you're going to go to your tap and you're going to start filling this bucket. If you got to use, a gallon jug or whatever you use to, get this filled up to here, give it a good stir, put the top on it, and set it aside for now. If you are adding the scent crystals, we can go ahead and do that now before we add any more hot water. No, I'm not going to add super hot water. Not like the stove water. It'll be tap hot. Not boiling hot or near boiling hot like we just had it on the stove. So I'm adding the scent boosters in there now, and wow, that smells great. And this is probably going to change the color of our soap. Those crystals are purple. This soap is going to turn a very pretty purple pink color. I'm excited to see what color it turns. So I'm going to continue to stir this, and we'll be right back, and we'll start adding our water, and we'll go through a couple more instructions. Nothing too crazy. And then we'll be done. Alright guys, this is the point where I'm going to start filling this up with water, and I'm actually going to leave a little bit more room than 1 inch because I am using that mixer. We can add more water to it tomorrow. I don't want it flowing over the edge when I'm mixing it. So let me get the water put in here and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, this is all the water I wanted to put in because these, I haven't used the scent crystals before, and it is Epsom salt, so it's expanding a little bit more than what I expected, and that's fine, but that's why I'm not going to add any more water to this right now. I'm going to attach this store-bought mixer. I don't have a cameraman right now, I'm sorry for the bad angles and whatnot, but we're going to tighten this on in there. And we're going to mix it, stick it right on in there. And I do have the paper on it still. And we're just going to get it really stirred up, and I'll show you what it looks like after. Okay guys, this is the final product. It smells so good. I have a feeling I'm going to love this recipe more than any other. Alright guys, this is the finished product. It's getting kind of lumpy. It's already starting to try to gel up on me. This has been extraordinarily mixed. It's going to get very, very thick in consistency. By tomorrow, I'm going to put the lid on it. I'm glad I left a little bit of room. If you are using the crystals, I would recommend leaving more than an inch, because look how thick that is. It's very goopy. So what we're going to do tomorrow is we are going, I'm not even going to mess with this anymore. I'm going to put the lid on it. It's getting a little, it's fluffy. Pink and fluffy cotton candy laundry soap. God, that smells good. Okay, so my kids drink this juice. It's very, very inexpensive, and I have been saving and washing out these containers. They're great. These are $1.50 juice. I'm not going to give you the name of them. Just took the label off. Tomorrow, once this is done, we're going to set out our 10 jugs. We're going to put a funnel in each jug. Well, you're going to fill each jug up half with water first. Then you're going to get your funnel. You're going to take some apparatus for scooping out of here and pouring into here. Half water, half soap. And then you're going to shake vigorously to store. Be sure to label it so you know what it is. This stores for about a year. So it lasts a really, really long time. You can use a half a cup per load. If you have a bigger wash machine like I do, and I'm doing 3 loads at a time, I use a cup and a half. I know that sounds like a lot, but that's how much normal laundry soap I was using before, so it's no different, just much cheaper. So that's it, guys. I will be back tomorrow to show you the finished product, and I will walk you through step by step how to do this process. You don't have to watch that video if you don't want. If you think you can, do it from here with what I've told you to do. I do not recommend storing it this way. I don't know if your wash machine will like you to put that in it. I don't know how well that would work, and I just made a mess. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it saves you and your family some money. I know it has saved mine, and it works great. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe to see more homemade stuff. And thank you for coming. Can't wait to see you again.